Okay. Well, hello, you guys. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for taking your evening and doing our team call with us. So tonight we're going to talk about overcoming objections. And I know this is one that we all have to deal with. We all get objections. No one is immune to it. Even top coaches get objections. So if you are getting objections, it does not necessarily mean that you are doing something wrong. But there's always ways to just help, like reach people better. So I feel like the biggest, what are you doing?
I'm sorry.
I feel like the number one biggest thing is first, make sure that you're finding the need. It doesn't matter who we're talking to. If we're not meeting their need, they're not going to see the value in it. So, for example, like if you're talking to someone who loves CrossFit, people who love CrossFit, like really love CrossFit, like they're like committed, they go to their classes, they are like invested into CrossFit. So if you're talking to them and you're like, hey, do Beachbody workouts, they're going to be like, I don't need to do that. Like, I'm really happy with my routine. I like going to the gym. I like my classes. And, you may be like, well, why would you not want this? You can do it at home. And it's not their need. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't have kids. Maybe they have the time to go to the gym, and maybe they're actually seeing good results. Some people, I never did, but some people get good results at the gym doing classes or CrossFit or whatever. So, maybe they had mentioned before that they're like feeling like tired or wore out. And that would be a great opportunity to mention, Shakeology, of course, or even Energize. And Chad and Summer have been talking about this a lot lately, but sometimes we get so focused on selling the challenge pack because it's so valuable, and we know that, and we want everyone else to get it and to love it as much as we do, and not everyone needs it. Not everyone wants it. So don't be like, they said no to challenge pack, like crossing them off my list. Like, see what else they need. Maybe
or feel like that's the only thing you can offer to them.
Yeah, there's all kinds of other stuff.
It could just like, I remember Chad was texting me the other week, and he said just last week, and he's like something to the effect of, I haven't sold any challenge packs, but I sold 4 Energizes this week, and they're like 38 PV.
Something like that. So you're still getting volume. You're still getting commission. So it's still helping your business, but you're filling their need. Exactly. And when you actually try to fill their need, that is building trust, because now you have Archer is telling us he has to pee. You're gonna go. Okay, potty training. So what was I saying? I totally lost my train of thought. So it builds trust. And then like they're going to be more open to, when you offer something else, like maybe, down the road, they're going to remember that you told them about this nutritional shake called Shakeology. And they are like, you know what, maybe that would be something that would actually be really good for me, because they are not going to feel like you were just trying to sell them, because you offered them something that was filling their need, not filling your need for more commission or success club points. So I think that's a really huge one, like number one. And like, some people, they're not ready. Like no does not mean no, never. It just means not right now. I have so many people who have said no to me that have come back around, and they see that I'm still here, and they're like, okay, maybe I do need your help. Because a lot of people, sometimes even accountability scares people. Being held accountable scares people because they might not have the belief in themselves yet. So they may say no, but, then they go try to do it themselves and they fail because no one's holding them accountable. So then they're going to be like, oh, she told me about this accountability group. Maybe I do need it. So I think that's where being a product of the product is huge. It's a vital behavior for a reason, because again, it's building trust, and no one is going to be interested in what you're offering if you're not sharing about it. So, you can't expect to take social media breaks and to have people coming to you. When I had Hunter, like my business as a whole really kind of slowed down. because I mean, things were crazy. I was adjusting to 2 kids, a newborn, nursing, pumping, which your life completely revolves around. And, you know, I wasn't able to connect with people how I wanted to or how I had been before I had him. But one thing that I kept doing was posting on social media. And I was sharing about my journey, you know, my postpartum journey about losing baby weight. And even though I wasn't sending out messages, I was still consistent on social media. So people saw, whoa, she just had a baby and she's still doing these workouts. Whoa, she just had a baby and she already lost her baby weight. You know what I mean? So like being a product of the product and being consistent about sharing about it is so vital. And you can't be at home behind closed doors working out and not share about it on social media, because then no one knows what the heck you're doing. So then when you're like, hey, I work out and I do accountability groups, they're going to be like, oh, you do? Good for you. No one's going to want to like join you because they don't see value in what you're doing, because they don't see you doing it.
Even when you do post, sometimes people will message you and they're like, I have no idea that you were into this. Even you're like, I've been posting about it every day so some people, it just goes right over the head, or they're not on social media that much. So kind of along with what she was saying, I think this is kind of a side note, but it really relates to objections. Like, know all of the ins and outs of like what our company offers. So like one of the things I've been doing is just going on to like teambeachbody.com, like the website, and just researching or I'll I'll look at some of the information about like Performance Line or like some of the things that are in it. You know, I'll look at, you know, some of the ingredients in like Shakeology. I'll really find, you know, information about like the challenge pack. So there's actually a ton of tools on the website designed to help us out. There's actually one of the places you can go to under Coach on all of our back offices is like tools, and they have a ton of stuff like links and videos. Like I think sending people good content is really helpful.
And being confident in what you're sharing about. Not just like, we have Performance Line, but I don't really know like what's in it. I mean, but maybe it would help you. Like, don't just gonna be like, okay, sign me up.
Totally believe in like what you're offering to them. It's just like I do sales like for a living, and I sell. I mean, we sell pest control. So we're not the cheapest company by far. There are companies that are way cheaper than us. So when someone calls in and they want to get bugs taken care of out of their house, if I just kind of tell them the price, you know, like, you know, it's $600, you know, for the year. And if I give them that price right up front, you know, they're going to go for that. They're going to say, whoa, the guy I called 2 calls before you just said it's $400 for the year. Why in the world would I go with him? But that's not how we sell pest control. We explain the service. We explain how we're going to do things that other companies don't do. Like and by the time I get to the price and I give it to them, I hear this all the time, and it relates directly to what we do. They're like, wow, you know what? You are considerably more than the other guy, but just by talking to you, I'm the most confident with you because you've explained it to me. I'm confident you guys are going to do what you say you're going to do because, you know, you explained it to me. No one else did that. No one else was knowledgeable about it. No one else took the time to explain it. So that's one of the things you're not getting with other companies like, what's the one? All of the other product companies, you know, I'm sure there are experienced reps out there, but the vast majority of people that work in multi-level marketing,
they're just selling something.
Like who was Brittany, was it you that had like an It Works person said, like, send them a message or was it Vanessa saying like you'd be a bomb ass tester for my
someone said that to me, and the same person sent it to Ginny like the day before.
Like, come on.
So it's like that,
okay. That's our competition. So you don't have to do much to be like above that, but like take the time to really get to know all the ins and outs of the product. I understand not everyone is as detail oriented as other people, and that's fine. But like, you know, this is your business. Like it would be like if you know, owned like a restaurant or like a shop and you had no idea what your inventory was, or you had no idea.
You didn't know how to make like your main dish. You're
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah. Or if someone asked
throw
you
something together, I don't know.
Yeah. Or if you were like the head chef of a restaurant you owned and someone asked you, hey,
what's in this?
Yeah.
You're
What's
like,
in this?
I don't really
I'm
know.
allergic. I don't know. I don't know.
They would leave. No one would buy,
Yep.
Your food. And also keep in mind that we are selling ourselves as coaches. Like a lot of other companies are pushing products, they're selling products. But like the awesome thing about coaching and Beachbody and what we do is like we're selling ourselves. Like the products are tools and they are awesome. We should be knowledgeable about them, but it's really about us and how we can serve them. And, just keep that in mind too, that we're sharing ourselves. What?
I'll talk about this too.
I can't read your handwriting.
This was from Bonnie Angle. She talked about.
Oh yeah.
3 points.
Do you want to share this now?
Yeah. So we listened to a bunch of videos just kind of in preparation for this. There's a lot of this is one of the biggest things that people do calls about different teams.
And it's one of the things that make people insecure. Like I keep getting these objections. I'm doing something wrong. Something's wrong with me. Nobody likes me.
Yep.
But, sometimes you just have to make a few adjustments and just take a deep breath and focus on what you're doing.
Yep.
So these are from Bonnie Engel. She's like top 2 coach in the company.
Yep.
So she just gave 3 easy tips to keep in mind when you're talking to people.
So the number 1 was just know your market and know who you're talking to.
She had said that like when someone messages her, instead of like getting excited and responding back right away, she just takes like 2 minutes and she checks out their profile. She just gets to know like who she's talking to. So you can relate to them better. You can kind of know where they're coming from, see if they have kids or dogs or whatever. So you have something to say. So it just makes them feel like you know them and like you actually care about them and you're trying to actually connect with them instead of just saying like, here's my link. If you want it, go buy it. And
do the same thing before you send out a message. So I've been getting to that habit before I send out a message to someone. Now I don't do it every time, but sometimes I'll send the message and then, because a lot of times it's just generic. Like I never just send a challenge group invite. Never have. I always just kind of connect with the person first. Like, hey, how are you doing? But
it's good to have something to talk about. Like, I saw you did this. How was that? Or instead of just, hey, how are you? Or
even just seeing what like if it's people, like a lot of people I'm talking to and a lot of people I've sold challenge packs to this month are people I haven't talked to in a long time, like 5 or 6 or 7 years. Sometimes some people even more. So just seeing what they're into, like the one guy in our challenge group right now, Caleb, I talked to him like he's had a kid,
it's been like 7 years.
Yeah. Just like major life changes. So you like to know about those type of things.
He forgot that he had a kid. So it's a good thing that he went through his Facebook.
I did. So know your market, know who you're talking to. Some people right off the bat aren't going to be into certain things. If you're talking to a mom, she's probably going to not be into bodybuilding. If I'm talking to a guy who is trying to like put on tons of muscle or something like that, right off the bat, I'm going to recommend different things. The conversation is going to be different. So know who you're talking to. It is going to change some people just message you back right away. Some people are very easy to talk to. Some people, like you'll say like, hey, so-and-so, like really, you're on my mind. I wanted to reach out to you. How are things been? And they'll just put, great.
And you're like,
and you're kind of like pulling the conversation
like
out
pulling
of them.
teeth.
So know your market. You're not always going to get that great response from everyone. So number 2 is make it fun.
I'm very good at this.
Yeah, referring to the objections.
Are very good at this.
Yeah.
Emojis and exclamation points and oh my God, that's amazing.
Can you believe how cheap this is?
Yeah, that's what I do. And I always do like the little screaming face, like this is so amazing.
I feel like it's hard because guys don't do that.
No, I know.
I'll just be like, I send them a link. I'll be like,
cool, bro.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this price is low, bro.
Yeah, so it's a little different for guys.
Yeah.
But
make it fun. Like if you are awkward in your message, that's totally going to come through in what you say. Especially like if you're on the phone, which I just try to do when I talk, like just totally own it. Like, make it fun. And just, if you go into it, like not feeling awkward, you're going to choose words in your messages that don't come across as awkward.
Just like be like calm and cool and don't overthink it. I think sometimes we get so freaked out and we overthink it and we make it so complicated and we're like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And then we're like trying to word it perfectly. And that's how I was when I first started. Like I just thought I had to be perfect. Like I had to like have all the right information. I couldn't like mess anything up. I had to make sure I did everything in the right order. And it was just kind of like draining because I wasn't being myself, that's for sure. And I was just overthinking it. And like, once I just kind of got over myself and just got over like, you know, people are going to say no, but you know, I believe in what I'm doing. Then it was just kind of like, it was just easier to share. It's just easier to talk to and just have a conversation. That's all that you're doing is just having a conversation. Yep. Just like pretend like you're with your best friend telling them about this awesome thing you found. You would just casually share it. You know what I mean? You wouldn't like annoyingly like list out all of these facts to your best friend if you were talking to her about it. Yep. Then number three was
feel, felt, found, which really kind of relates to them. So when you're describing like our products or like a challenge pack or a workout, you want to talk about of course, just how it's going to, it's going to relate to them, but your experience, like, I feel like this would be a really good option for you. I felt like you've been looking for something that, that would help you lose weight or, get in better shape or fight back those cravings. I found that for me, this has really changed my life, or this has really helped me reach my goals, or, not crave junk food so much. So use feel, felt, found, like specifically when you're talking about something, because it really helps kind of you come down to their level and they can kind of put it in perspective. Like if someone can understand that, you walked through the exact same thing and you were able to overcome that, that's huge. So even when you're messaging people, just try to relate to them. And that goes across the board for anything, like the workouts, like the products, especially the price too. Like, I always talk about that with Shakeology. When I'm talking to people about it, I always say, listen, I always swore I would never buy my own because it's too expensive. I don't want to spend $200 a month on a protein powder or whatever.
Such it's not much.
No, I know. or whatever. I do know how much it is, but combined. Yours and mine.
Got it.
But then I always share with them, like, then I sat down and I knew the value of it. I loved how it made me feel. I was less fatigued. I had more energy. So then we sat down and looked at the budget, and we saw how much I was spending on eating out at work and going to, Wawa for snacks.
And it was more.
It was like more.
At least double what he would pay for Shakeology.
Yep. So I share that with people because if they can be like, wow, I'd probably do the same thing, So
a lot of people do. Even Starbucks. Like one Starbucks drink is more expensive than one serving of Shakeology. Yeah. Shakeology comes down to like $4 a day. And a Starbucks drink, especially like a big one, it's like $7. Yeah. And it's not even a meal. It's just something that's completely making your body toxic and like makes you gain weight. Like there's so much sugar in that crap.
And when you're talking about price, please don't say it's less than the cup or it's less than the cost of a cup of coffee a day. I hate that so much. It's so overdone. It's so overused. Like there are way better ways to say it. Like, It
depends who you're talking to.
No, I know.
If someone who is addicted to Starbucks, then you can say that.
Yeah, but
if they're not, they're gonna be like, okay.
Well, some people are like, well, I don't drink coffee, ha.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even do it.
Yeah. So just try to relate it to, at least for me, I found that most people are the same. Like to like buying snacks at work, eating out, buying meals. Like one of the things we talked about, like So try to think about it differently. I guess I didn't really think about this. When you're offering like a challenge pack, oh my gosh, go, return. There's no way the kid has to pee this much. This is ridiculous. Mom. So when you're thinking about like a challenge pack, like let's say we didn't offer like Shakeology. Let's say we offered like actual meals, like Nutrisystem or something. So think about how much food you would get for 30 days, like 30 actual meals. That's a lot of freaking food. Like, or if you went to a restaurant like 30 times in a month and you bought every single one of those meals, that's a lot of food. So like when I'm trying to explain the value to someone, you can say like, we have a meal replacement shake, or you could say like, you're going to get a challenge pack. It's going to come with your containers. It's going to come with your workout. Good job, buddy. And it's going to come with 30 meals. Like 30 meals, that's a lot. That's a lot of food. So, I mean, I was talking about just like try to explain Shakeology, like rather than just saying, hey, you're going to get a workout, you're going to get containers, you're going to get a meal replacement, say you're going to get this and you're going to get 30 meals.
Like that sounds like super inviting. Like that's a lot of meals.
Yeah. Oh, that's 30 meals less I have to deal with in a month. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things. Did you want to jump onto something? I have a couple other ones. I was going to talk about John and stuff.
And then also with the feel, felt, found, like when people do bring up the money objection, just say like, I know exactly how you feel. Like I felt the same way.
Yep.
And I mean, we totally thought that. I remember when I first got T25, they had a sample of Shakeology in there. We tried it. We loved it. We're like, let's see how much it is. We saw the price. We're like, freaking heck no. Like never, never, never. Like that is way too much. There's no way that it's worth it. We'll never buy that.
Yep.
We were looking on Amazon for like a cheaper price. And I was like, there's no way I'm spending over $100 on this stupid thing. So,
we understand the value of it.
Yeah. Then once I knew more about it, I was like, oh, this is kind of awesome.
So
and then you just share like how it's helped you, like what you found with it.
All objection of any kind, price, time, what's the other ones we get? Space. Every objection comes down to a lack of perceived value. We heard that. I heard that on the call. So I'm going to say that again. Every objection we get in this business comes down to a lack of perceived value. If they don't understand why this would be a good fit, then we haven't explained it to them. Mm-hmm. And if you have explained it to them and they still don't want to get, then that's fine. Hang up your hat at the end of the day. You did everything you can do, and that's fine. And we're not going to be able to get something for everybody. But that's why we talked about we offer other things besides the challenge pack. Find a good fit. Some people just aren't looking for a fit, and that's okay. Like she said, no doesn't mean no forever. But just explaining the value of it is huge. Mm-hmm. Lead with that. Like lead with relating to them and the value of the products. And I know we all do this, but get to the price last. So even if they ask you, like, hey.
And I know sometimes people are like, how much does your group cost? Just like the very first message they send you, they're just like, what's the price? And you're like, oh crap, this is making me do everything totally backwards. Like, what do I even say? And it's like intimidating when someone just like blurts out the question about price. But you just kind of go around it. Like, I'd love to share this with you. Like, how are you doing? Like, how was your trip to the beach or whatever? Like, don't just like, again, just be like casual and cool and just connect with them. Because even when someone blurts out, that they want to know the price, like that doesn't change what we do. That doesn't change the fact that we're still building a relationship and we're still connecting. So don't be intimidated by that. And then just like start to just like slowly share.
I have something on that too.
Go ahead.
So when they ask you how much it costs, say something like this. Say, well, it's different for everyone. Or say it's like it would depend on what we get you set up with.
So do you mind if I ask you some questions to
exactly.
see what would be a good fit?
Yeah.
For
So because and then that's sales 101. Like you want to try to come up. You want them to feel like you're getting a good fit. Yes, challenge pack is what we want, but they don't know that the challenge pack is what we want. Like we have on demand. We have just Shakeology. They could just buy. Like I had a guy just buy a Core de Force off of me. He just bought the plain DVD. So there are technically tons of options. So it is 100% an honest answer. So rather than just saying it's this much, say hey, it's different for everyone. If you're okay with it, I'd love to actually come up with a a great game plan for you. And then when you talk about it,
just ask questions, get to know them, and get to know that need, because the need is what all of this comes down to. If you don't know the need, you can't help them. And if they don't feel like you can help them, they're not gonna buy anything from you. So yeah, just like let them know, like, I'd love to find that good fit for you. Can I ask you some questions to see where you're at with stuff?
Then they feel like you genuinely care, rather than just because they expect you to just give them a price.
That's what most people do.
Yep.
Like,
they expect you to send that
and this
link.
is what you get, and like blah 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 blah. Here's the link. Let me know what you think. And don't do that, because you're not really serving them. Because a lot of people, they ask, how much does your group cost? They're not asking about a challenge pack. And we just say, like, here's a challenge pack. Well, they weren't even asking about the challenge pack. They're asking about group. And again, like, no one's going to want to be in our groups if we're not meeting that need, and we're not just getting to know them and building that relationship.
That's good.
So what else did you have?
So I was going to just share about price objection one, like with John. So
sometimes you got to work on people.
He's
going to share about a friend that we have who we've been talking to about this for a long time. And he's like really stubborn. He's really stingy. And here's the thing.
Italian guy.
So stingy. And he can afford it. He just wouldn't do it because he didn't really understand the value. Yep. So sometimes it takes more than one time telling somebody about it. Like, there are some people I've had to explain everything to them like 4 times. And then it was like, finally, they're like, okay, I'm ready to do this. So, if
they're in the challenge group, it's John and Taylor.
Yeah, you don't have to blurt out names.
Oh, that's okay. He's never going to see this. Well, he might. We're working on it. Find his text. So I've been texting John. I've known him for many, 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 many years. He's my roommate. His wife was my wife's roommate when we were all dating.
We go way back.
So as soon as I decided I wanted to do this, I wanted to help him out. Since I've known John, he's just struggled with his weight. Yeah. I've known him for 7 years, and he's always struggled with his weight. He's put in probably 150 pounds since you've known him.
Probably. It's been a lot. And he's always tried stuff and quit. You know what I mean? Like, he bought a bike because he's like, I'm going to ride everywhere and I'm going to lose weight. Well, after like a week, he didn't do it anymore. Nutrisystem, like all kinds of stuff. And, the gym, and none of it was working. He couldn't stick to any of it. So, obviously, like, we see a need there, and we know him, we have a relationship with him. So we know what he needs. We know like where he's failed, and, we know how what we have to offer could really benefit him. Yep. And it's coming from a place of true, like, we care about him. Like, he's like my brother, and I want to help him because I know what we have, it could literally save his life.
Yep. So I've been texting him for a couple months. Not even about the business, just I really tried to just relate to him, try to connect with him, so he knew that this just wasn't a fad that I was doing. He knew that I was serious, and he did. He knew that I was really serious about it. But I've been texting him. I try to talk to him like once a week, once every other week. We were driving back from her mom's house, and I had him on the phone, and he was just saying, he said the biggest thing is just like, it's in my head, like, like I see myself as just this big guy, and that's just my identity, and I can't get past that. And I said, we were talking about Shakeology, because his wife already has On Demand. So I was mainly talking about Shakeology because he's tried Nutrisystem and he all these other things. And I said, and this is I'm really recommending for someone that you guys are really close to. You wouldn't go this hard on someone you're just messaging, like casual friend, someone like a parent, like your mom or like your family member, your sibling, someone that you have that relationship with, and it would be a good value. I broke it down like this. I said, John, I hear what you're saying. I said, I'm telling you, I have a solution. You're saying Shakeology is too much, but let me ask you this, and I mean this sincerely. Think about what I'm saying. If it changed your life, would it be worth it? If it helped you meet your goals, would it be worth it? If it helped you stick to what you want to do, would it be worth it? And he was quiet for a minute, and then he said yes. He said it would. Then I said, do it. I said, just take a chance on it. Like, listen to two of your friends who have totally changed your life. And if you hate it, you can always send it back and get a refund. So that was my conversation with him. I really asked him, like, I just gave him all the things back that he gave to me. And I said, if it helps you get to where you want to go, would it be worth the price? And he said, yes. So he's been on Shakeology for a couple of weeks. He's been drinking it. He sent me a picture of his scale, and he said, the last time I was at this weight is when I was on Nutrisystem for 3 weeks. I'm at the lowest weight I have been in 4 years. Mind you, he hasn't even started.
It's not even working out.
He's not even working out yet.
Drinking Shakeology.
That's just drinking Shakeology. And he said, Shakeology, he was joking.
Might be worth
He's like, Shakeology just might be worth it.
Which is a big deal coming from him.
Yep. And then this is the big thing. He said, dude, for the first time in a long time, I honestly believe it's possible. Yeah, I honestly believe it's possible. And I'm like, dude, come on.
That's amazing.
And we're excited about this, just because, this is one of our best friends.
Yeah. So sometimes when you get objections, it's not the products or anything. It's not you. It's just they don't believe in themselves. I have a challenger in our group right now. She shared this in the introduction, but she has what, PCOS or something like that. But it's been really hard for her. They've been trying for 3 years to have a baby. And, when she was younger, she was like super thin and she just like gained all of this weight, and she's had a really hard time getting it off. And she started and stopped. She's tried different things. And, I've talked to her probably about 5 times about challenge group, about Shakeology. She has T25. She just hasn't ever done it consistently. And she's super picky at eating. Like, she doesn't like vegetables, stuff like that. And she told me, she's like, I need to lose weight in order to have a family. They've been trying for 3 years. Obviously, that is something that is very important to her. Yeah. So, and I couldn't figure out, I'm like, why won't you just do what I'm telling you to do? You keep coming to me for help. I know that you want this. You have the biggest why that I've ever heard. And she was still not budging. She's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to try Shakeology. And, and after our coaching sneak peek, she saw Jennifer's video and she saw Ginny's video, and she messaged me and she's like, I really think that I need to do this. I need to drink Shakeology. And, oh my gosh, Archer pooped, everyone. You want to go take care of that?
I pooped.
Okay.
Great job.
How that happened?
I don't know.
It's outrageous. Did you read this?
I did. That's
Mom,
horrible.
you're a nice.
Sorry. So anyways, so she messaged me and she's like, okay, I need to do this now. And then, through talking and just getting down to the bottom of it a little more. Go on, Daddy. She had told me, she's like, honestly, I just don't think that I'm going to stick with this. I don't think that I can stick with this. I've never stuck with anything before. So then it was like, okay, her objection is not with me. Her objection is not with the group. Her objection is not with the products. It is with herself. She doesn't believe in herself. She doesn't think she can actually do it. So now, that's something that she's going to have to work through. That's something that I'm helping her work through. But sometimes when you get that objection, it has nothing to do with you or the products or anything. It's just they don't think that they're capable of it. And honestly, if you would have talked to me back before I first started, I would have been the same way, because nothing ever gave me results. I was faithful to the gym, you guys. I went like 5 or 6 days a week for at least an hour, and I didn't get anywhere. So in my mind, I was like, well, this is just me. Like, I'm just built to be this way. I'm big boned. I'll never lose weight. I can never be toned. And I had it in my mind, like that was my identity, just like John's. Like, that's just how I saw myself. So when I started T25, I had no belief in the workouts. I had no belief in myself. And I just happened to get results within a week. And so then I was like, okay, I'm a believer. And I kept going with it. So that's pretty much all that we had. But yeah, I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions, we'll just take a minute and you can post them in chat or anything, or any objection that you're getting that we didn't cover that you would like some help with. Brittany, I can't believe that her doctor told her that. Like, that makes me want to just freak out. She was told she was not able to lose weight. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. Wow. She has to get surgery, like gastric bypass? Or for those of you who are watching the recording, Brittany has a friend who has PCOS, and her doctor told her that she could never lose weight. So now she wants surgery, but doesn't need it. She's about 275. Wow, that is stupid. Yeah, so sometimes you're dealing with people. Hey, baby. Sometimes you're dealing with people who they've been fed lies, and you can sit for a minute. That's right. I love you. Who they just don't have that belief in themselves. So, anyways, I believe that is it. Babe, did you have anything else? Just putting Archer back to bed.
Yeah, I'll be in.
Okay, we have 3 minutes. Sorry. Knew this was gonna happen. Others that are beginning are because they're already using products from different companies and are happy with them, going to the gym or just doing their own thing and happy. Okay, so that is a great. So like if they're already going to the gym and they're happy, maybe that would be a good way to introduce like Shakeology or Performance line. There's like Recover, there's Hydrate, there's Energize. We all love Energize. It works awesome. It gives you like natural energy. It doesn't make you crash. Or if they're already using like a different shake or wraps or whatever, just talk about the workouts or, and even if they don't budge on like what they're doing or don't want anything you have, that, just keep going with the relationship. I think that's really important to make people feel like you actually care about them. And it's not like, oh, they don't want what I have to offer, so I'm just going to like get rid of them. She's not saving. Yeah. Yeah, Brittany, that's a really good point, because even if they are going to the gym, sometimes they don't have the accountability. So yeah. Okay. If you have any other questions, you can just post them in group. We have less than a minute.
Okay,
so
real quick.
you have to be really quick.
Okay. The last thing I had was don't create objections where there's not any. Like don't assume that everyone's going to have an objection. Like if you ask a certain thing, sometimes people
don't prejudge.
Yeah, don't prejudge it. Like I've had a couple people that like message me, or I'll say like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, hey, things are going great. By the way, you look really, really great in your pictures. What have you guys been doing? So don't prejudge it. If you start to like kind of play those imaginary scenarios about what they're going to say or the objections they're going to have, that can kind of get into your head. So don't do that. Stay positive. So.
All right, guys. Thank you again so much for hopping on, and we will talk to you later.
All right.
Night.
See ya.